Hey everyone, happy Thursday. I'm hopping on here and doing this video for everyone who has purchased Ranunculus Corms from us, our little flower farm in Fernley, Nevada, Petals and Pages Flower Farm. And first off, thank you. Huge thank you for helping us get rid of our surplus. I over-purchased, which is really easy to do. And we only have so much space to grow Ranunculus Corms, and I can only do so many successions before the heat gets too hot and ranunculus don't grow. So after I did my counts, I realized I had a lot more Ranunculus corms than I actually could use and needed. So thank you so much for helping us get rid of so many of them. We still have some and they're on our website. That sale is, that 10% off sale is going through the rest of the day today and will continue on through tomorrow evening, and it will be cut off tomorrow at 8 o'clock in the evening time. So if you haven't grabbed your ranunculus now, go get them. There's still some there. There's some standard ranunculus. I believe there's even some Italian ranunculus left too. So if you haven't snagged them, now is your time, especially to get that 10% discount. Okay, I've had a couple questions pop up about ranunculus, and I wanted to go over some of them. So let's first start with, let's talk size. Okay, so when you receive your Ranunculus corms, they're gonna be these dried, shrivel up looking spider-like things. They're gonna be really underwhelming, and you're gonna be like, I paid so much money for these little tiny handful of like dried, shrivel up bits. That is normal. Everybody experiences that. Growers, gardeners, retail customers. Just Ranunculus corms are super funky. They're ugly, they can be small, they can be really big, and they're a tangled mess sometimes. So I have a few different Ranunculus corms here that I want to show you so you get the idea, so that when you receive your package, it's not so much of a shock. So one of my questions has been, why are some of my Ranunculus corms really small and the other ones are really big? And the easy, fast question is, it's probably a different variety, and Ranunculus corms also come in different sizes. And as a grower, I like to grow the biggest corm that I can find. However, because of the high demand, the shortage in Ranunculus corms, some crop failures, and the customs on the borders, a lot of the wholesale haven't been able to get the proper sizes, or the much bigger growers get precedent over the smaller growers. So I ordered all large size, which the largest size you can get is 7-8, unless you go to a jumbo. 7-8 basically is the largest size that you can get. I got 5-6, which is just one step down. It's still a really nice size corm. It's gonna produce blooms. It's gonna produce multiple blooms for you and for me. But I wanted to show you that a 5-6, which is a nice size of a corum, it can be different in one variety than another. So let me show you what that means. So this guy, you can see they're pretty small. Let's see here. If you can see that, let's see if you can focus in here. There we go. So that's pretty small. I mean, look at my fingernail. It's fairly small. And a whole handful, this is 2, 4, 6, this is 8 Ranunculus corms, and that fills my hand. I could probably get another 15 in here, or 20 to 25 Ranunculus corms in my one little tiny hand. This is a 5-6 corum, meaning this is the second largest size that you can get in a corum for Ranunculus. And this is the Amandine Lemon Pastel, which we are selling on our website. I think we still have a few left. This is a good size corum, and it's tiny, and you're gonna think this shriveled little thing is gonna turn into Ranunculus. It will. And that's part of your job. When you receive these, you have to plump them up. We'll go into that a little bit later, but there's that size, as you can see. So then let's go over to a standard, this is our standard ranunculus, the purple color, the really vibrant purple color that's gorgeous and I love. So you can see this one a little bit bigger. I mean, she's like probably double my size of my fingernail. And if I put a lemon pastel and her next to each other, I mean, look at the size of that. It's pretty significant. This is also a 5-6 size corum. So it's a different variety, but it's the same size, and they're both gonna produce you flowers. Now, ranunculus is really special because it's not just one flower that they're gonna produce, they'll produce multiple flowers. So there's 2 5-6 sizes in a separate variety, and you can see the size difference. It's pretty significant. And then you also, if you ordered the jumbo Tecolot Cafe, they come in these kind of like really super large rat's nest. And you can't really determine, you know, what's the root, what's the leg, where's the head, all that stuff. I can because I've been dealing with them for a while. But when you receive them, and this is pretty big. I mean, that one guy fills up pretty much my whole palm. It's giant, it's a jumbo. But this also could be a combination of a couple smaller corums, just kind of in a rat's nest. That whole thing you're gonna plump up and put into the ground. So here's a jumbo. This is the very largest size that you can get. And I don't often get these ones because they are pretty big and they can be a bit tricky to work with. And then there is a 5-6, the standard purple. And then here is that amandine lemon pastel. I mean, size difference is pretty significant. So this is a jumbo, which is only being offered in the jumbo Tecolot Cafe. And then here are the 5-6. So there's a little bit about size. So again, when you receive your ranunculus corms, they're gonna be kind of like, what in the heck is this? That's normal. Everybody experiences it. If you've never grown them before, just be aware that you're gonna be a little bit underwhelmed. I was too. And every time I get them, I'm like, really? Like, these are so silly. Am I really gonna turn this into a flower? You will. With some work and some practice, they'll turn into a flower. So let's move on to the next topic, which is let's talk about how to grow them. So I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty of growing ranunculus because it really all depends on your zone. Your USDA zone is huge in how you're going to grow your ranunculus corms. And if you read in my description, we are sending a how-to guide in our zone. We're growing in a 7B 8A zone, which there's a lot of the country in that zone, but our growing zone is going to be different than, let's say, a 10A or a 3B. You've got to find out your growing zone, and you can do that with a real quick Google search. Just Google search USDA growing zones. You put in your zip code and it will tell you right away what you're growing in. That is going to determine when you're going to put your ranunculus corms in the ground or outside. So we are a 7B 8A, and I played around a little bit this last year, and I did a fall sowing, 2 fall sowings, and I'm going to do another succession planting in a couple weeks. So I can get away with something like that with a light covering because I am in a warmer zone than, like, say, a 3A or a 4 or even a 5B. If you're in a really cold zone where your ground is still frozen, you can't get a shovel in it, you're getting a whole bunch of snow, this is not the time to plant your ranunculus corms. You want your ground to be workable, but you don't want to be super hot. So if you're in a like a 9B, 10A, 10B, you really want to get these corms in the ground pretty quickly because you're going to warm up faster and your ranunculus corms are going to grow super fast and produce that flower and possibly not create a really long stem. So again, it's finding your USDA zone that's really important to begin with. And in our growing guide that comes with all of your purchases, it says that in there. Please read through that, maybe even a couple times. Ranunculus is not a seed that you're just going to throw in the ground, water, and it's going to grow. It does take a little bit of work up front, but you're going to be rewarded with these gorgeous flowers. And it's really not hard. It's just a couple more steps than just putting seed in the ground. So my husband and I had these grand ideas to have video. In fact, I actually have video on how to soak, pre-sprout, and plant our flowers, the Ranunculus Corms, outside. And then I had a major life thing happen, which most of you know about. And I don't have time to do that right now. And we are hoping to get that up and running for the next round of Ranunculus Corms that we sell in the fall. But that gives us time to kind of finesse and get those videos up. But there are some really great resources that I will include in this email. One is from Floret Flowers, Erin Benzacane, which I learned from her. She was my first course that I took. I paid for her workshop web shop. And I've learned a ton from her. She offers a lot of free information, which is fantastic. So I'll include her blog link in this email. And if you're a reader and you find that you learn by just reading rather than videos, hers is perfect. Another really great source is one of my very favorites, and they've been around for a really long time. They're in Oregon, Bear Mountain Farm. They are in Shed, Oregon, and it's a husband and wife duo, and they're fantastic. They have a really great YouTube plethora of videos, and a lot of them are about ranunculus because that's one of their main crops that they grow. And so I'll also include that link in this email so that you can click on there and kind of peruse around and see which ranunculus video really rings true to you and possibly your zone and what exactly you're struggling with. So for the time being, and because we didn't get the videos and more data up on our website, I'm going to refer you to more professionals. They've been doing this for a really long time. Erin's been in business for nearly 20 years, and I believe Bear Mountain Farm is closer to 30 years in business. So they truly are amazing resources that I encourage you to kind of just like scour their website, scour their YouTube channels, and really learn from them, because I've learned a ton from them as well. And a lot of their content is free, so you don't have to pay for a lot of stuff too. So that's fantastic. I also had a question of like, when did I start? I kind of touched on that earlier in this video. I started soaking my ranunculus in October of 2021, and I planted them in the end of October and beginning of November, and they are doing really good. Now I have them in a high tunnel, which is a plastic covered walk-in space that is pretty warm in the day. We also, because we're high desert and we are desert, we get a lot of sun throughout the day. So although my temperatures are going to be, 15, 18 over the nighttime, the daytime warms up pretty significantly because we have the sun warming up our high tunnel. And I'm not going to go walk out there right now because I'm hooked up to my chemo bag and all that stuff, and it's a whole thing. But I will give you a picture of what my current ranunculus look like. They're really doing fantastic. And I'm also going to sow my last succession in another couple weeks. I've potted them up, and I did the pre-soaking process, and I'm doing the pre-sprouting process right now. So they're down in my laundry room at between 58 and 60 degrees, and there are no lights, it's darkness, and they have been down there for a couple days. So in another few weeks, they'll be ready to go outside. So that was my time frame, and it took me a little while to figure out what that was. This is also my first year of fall sowing them rather than doing it all in the late winter, early spring. And that was a trial that I was willing to take a risk at, and so far it's working out for me. That's another thing with this, is some of it is going to be pure, well, most of it is going to be pure trial and error. You have to figure out your zone, your growing space. There's so many things that go into really growing good flowers. If this is just in your garden, you don't have to figure all this stuff out. I would definitely say figure out your USDA growing zone so you know when to put them outside. But you don't need to have a heated house. You don't need to have a high tunnel. You don't even really need to cover them as long as you put a little bit of mulch on them. They should be okay for you and they should grow for you. The other thing that Ranunculus corms do not like is to be soaked. So if you are in snow or if you're getting a ton of rain right now, do not plant your Ranunculus corms out. They will rot in the ground and they will not produce anything. So even if your ground is really workable, kind of look ahead and see how much rain am I going to get, how many days am I going to be dry, and weigh that option. If you have too much water in your ground, they are just going to rot in the ground and nothing will produce. So again, pay attention to your weather, find out your USDA growing zone, watch the resources I've sent to you in this email. And then if you have any other questions, feel free to send me a message. You can respond immediately to this email, or you can go to our website and send a message through our contact information on the website part of it. So let's see, I have one more question to answer. I was asked, where do I source my corms? Where do I get them? So I don't grow these corms. I purchase them from a wholesaler and then I grow them as cut flowers. And then I also have a resale license. That's how I can sell them to you. So thankfully I have the resale license. So when I had my surplus, I could then resell them to you. So I source mine from 3 companies. I source them from Ownings, Ball Horticulture, and from Dutch Grown. And all 3 are reputable companies. Ball Horticulture took over another very large company last year in I think it was 2020, Glockner. The Glockner sold to Ball Horticulture. So Ball is huge. Unfortunately, because Ball is so huge, everybody goes to Ball, and a lot of times their inventory is not as high as other ones. So overall, all of the wholesale companies have seen a production level go lower because of crop failure, customs, longer wait times, and then also the demand in home growers, gardeners, and small flower farms go way high. So that all started with COVID. Unfortunately, it did trickle into our industry in many ways. And so we're still trying to find that balance. So that's why it's harder to find things, and it's even harder for us growers to find particular corms as well. So, but I did want to let you know, these corms are coming from very reputable companies that are only available to wholesale. And so the corms that you're getting are only available to growers, wholesale growers, if you have an account with them. So these are not the same corms you're going to be getting at Lowe's or Home Depot or your grocery store, even some of your local nurseries. You may see similar names, but they're probably not going to be as great quality as the corms that we're reselling to you from these reputable companies. So I just wanted to throw that in because I had that question and I thought it was a really great question. So anyways, I think that's it. This is a pretty long video. So sorry about that. But I had a lot of information and I had a lot of questions. So awesome, guys. Thank you so much for supporting us, our small little flower farm. And if you have any questions for me, don't hesitate. Shoot me a message. I'm here. I'm doing chemo right now, and my personal life's kind of slowed me down a lot right now. So I do have a little bit more time to answer emails. So again, if you have a question, send it to me. I'm all ears, and you might get a message from me in the middle of the night my sleeping pattern is a little bit weird lately. So anyway, thank you so much for your support. Thank you for watching this video. I hope these resources help you. I hope this video helped answer some questions for you. And until next time, take care. Happy flowering. Thanks.